I'm a psychologist. I specialize in weight and feeding disorders. I treat obese and anorexic people, and I've had a long list of patients. A lot of strange and rare disorders. This story happened about a year ago, and I couldn't realize what happened until 3 or 4 months that it happened. Turns out one day I was in my office and it was a Friday, a normal Friday, and I was gonna go out with my friends later. I was happy because I finished my appointments early. I could go out sooner. However, a friend called me and told me that he had a family emergency and he needed me to take care of a patient he was waiting at the last time of the day. He begged and begged, and I, being the nice guy, agreed to receive the patient at the last time. I shouldn't have done that, so I agreed to help him with this patient. He told me her name was Camila and that she had a condition, a very serious eating disorder. It was something that would require a lot of caution. He told me that she was going to come up in the elevator to my office. So, okay, I sat waiting. It was about half an hour while I waited to see the patient. I didn't see her, she was not coming, I didn't have any news of her, and my friend had just left to his house. Probably to rest, the goddamn bastard. Anyway, I decided to go to the hallway to see what happened, to search for the patient and ask the staff. And then I saw there was a queue in front of the elevator, a queue of people just waiting. I asked one of the people and she told me the elevator had busted and had been like this for about 20 or 30 minutes and they were waiting for it to be fixed. So at any moment, it was going to go up. So I told myself, the patient must be there, and now I will have to deal with an anxiety case. She'd been in an elevator for a long time. Suddenly the elevator arrived and opened its doors. And from the elevator came a woman that when someone says morbid obesity, that is really putting it lightly. It was a woman that suffered the most monumental obesity I've seen in my whole career. She could barely make it through the door of the elevator. I'm not exaggerating or mocking. So she got off the elevator. Her clothes were stained with food remains. Her hands, that's a thing I remember. I won't forget it. She carried a plastic bag, black, with some sort of something sluggish, a blob to say the least. It wasn't liquid and it wasn't solid, something thick. She carried it in her hands like it was a baby. And I saw her coming and the people in front of the elevator stood aside to escape, to avoid showing their disgust of the smell. The other thing was the smell of food that had been there for who knows how long. In that moment, I thought of my friend and I wanted to strangle him, punch him, for for transforming my Friday night into this. It's his responsibility, not mine, that patient. Anyway, I'm a professional at what I do, and I really believe in professional ethic. I wouldn't be telling this if there was not a reason for it. But when I saw her standing there, okay, I felt a little guilty of thinking bad things about my friend and putting in front of the needs of a patient my Friday night. So, well, okay, I came over, invited her to my office. I called her name Camila, but the woman, as soon as she heard the name, started crying. She blocked her face and started crying in rivers. So I had to console her a little, tell her it's okay, don't worry. I touched her back and I don't like to... The fact I work with these people is not ethical to talk like this, but this woman was off the charts to what I'd seen in this line of work, honestly. The stench she emanated, the fact that when I touched her dress I could feel the grease from the food she probably spilled on it, and that stench made me wanna puke, but okay. I invited her into my office. We entered, and I saw the sofa where my patients sit. I told her to sit there, knowing that the next day I'd have to clean it with something strong to take out the stench and the grease. But well, okay, it's a patient, a human being. And she's in distress, she needs help. Okay, that's my job, and I believe in what I do. So I invited her to sit. The woman couldn't stop crying, hysterical. She didn't even say words. She said something between the crying that I couldn't even understand. Camila, sit down, please. She cried even more. Like every time I say the name Camila, she cried even more, like the name stressed her out for some reason. But well, she sat down, and I saw that the bag she was carrying, she was squeezing it harder and harder, and I got scared, really, that whatever was inside was gonna spill in my office. So calmly I talked to her, and I started trying to make the situation not so stressful. I started trying to connect with her. So the first thing I said was, I know that you're probably you must be very stressed for what happened in the elevator. Being there must have been a very terrible experience. If it was me, I would be freaking out, screaming like a little girl. It would be ugly. So I understand pretty well, and don't worry for that. Tell me, what's your problem? Let's calm down. The woman started calming, started being a little more relaxed. So she told me that she needed help. She told me, doctor, please help me. Can you help me? I told her yes, but I needed her to calm down so we could talk, so I could know what was the problem with her. The woman was making a great effort to maintain the composure. So I addressed the bag she had. I asked her, what's in the bag? Is it food? She looked at the bag. She looked at me, and she just said, before bursting into tears again, these are leftovers, just leftovers. She cried and hugged the bag. God damn it. So obviously, with someone in that state, I couldn't work. So I told her, look, Camila, right now, in that state, I can't help you really. Why don't you take a time, calm down a little, and come by tomorrow morning? I can see you tomorrow at 8, 10, the time that you find more comfortable. You just call my secretary and we make an appointment. Right now you need to take some air. It would be good that you breathe a little, that you were a little calmer so we could talk. She looked at me and asked me again with still teary eyes that if I really could help her, that if I really wanted to help her. I told her yes, of course. Okay, so the woman, still scared and sad and hugging that bag, got up. I noticed that she had something spilled around her mouth. Some tomato sauce or barbecue, I guess. So I gave her a napkin, like a gesture of kindness. Look, here, you have something in your face. She took the napkin and cleaned her mouth, tossed it in the garbage can, and got up. The sofa was ruined. She got out of the office to never come back, because the next day she didn't come to the office as she promised, like I told her to, because really in the hysterics she was in, she didn't say any coherent words. I thought maybe she went back to see my friend, to her therapist, or that maybe she didn't come back because of what happened in the elevator. In that moment I thought that. Now I think a different thing. And well, 3 months later was when my friend, the guy, came back because he really had an emergency in his family. I decided to ask him for Camila, the patient. So I asked him, I told him, hey, what do you know about Camila, the patient you sent me that day, with the overweight? She got stuck in the elevator. Really, it was a pretty delicate case. What happened with her? He looked at me confused and said, Camila? Yeah, Camila, the patient you sent me that day that you went for the emergency. Camila, yeah, how did it go with her? Well, not pretty good, because she was hysterical. The elevator got stuck, and I told her to come the next day and she never did, and it was a really extreme obesity case. I wanted to know if you had spoken to her lately. That's what I am asking. And he looked at me again, confused, and told me, that is not Camila. Camila suffers from anorexia. She's a 10-year-old girl. A great case of anorexia. The one with the obesity is the mother. That woman is in pretty bad shape, but she came bringing her daughter. I sent them both in the elevator that day. What? I sent them both in the elevator. I told them that to go to the 4th floor where you are. I only saw one person, the obese woman. No child arrived. They had to arrive. I sent them both. I looked at him and started to remember what had happened. He showed me a picture of the girl. She was a very little, very malnourished kid. She probably weighed 12, 13 pounds. I recalled the bag the woman carried. I remembered the crying whenever I said the name Camila. I And I started to think of something that happens when someone suffers from morbid obesity. To calm the anxiety a person with that condition has to eat, it becomes some sort of stimulus-response relation, that it really becomes the most urgent need to eat in a stressful situation. And that woman was standing half an hour in an elevator in the dark with nothing more than a child that didn't even weigh 15 pounds. And I recalled the bag of leftovers and how she hugged it, and I recalled the stain she left on the napkin, that in the end I really don't think it was tomato sauce or barbecue or any kind of sauce. And I started thinking why she hadn't come back, because the appointment was not for her, it was for her daughter, right? That's what happened with her, and that's the reason I tell this story. I don't know what happened, I don't know where she is right now, but in this line of work you see things that can turn not only your stomach but your soul. This is all I can say of that.